The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Last Friday of the month of June, which really doesn't mean a damn thing. But hey, it's
Summer's
Friday.
flying by.
Summer is flying by. What a great summer. We've had nothing but golf and boating and barbecues and cook. Oh, wait, no, we haven't had any of that because it's still raining outside right now.
I mean, it's even hard to boat on the rivers.
It's impossible to boat on the rivers these days. Massive flooding is now impacting nearly half of this state.
Yeah.
That's a lot of land. That's a lot of water.
Instead of barbecuing, a lot of people out there sandbagging.
Yes. The Minnesota, Mississippi, and Missouri, as I like to call it, rivers are all expected to see their highest levels in at least 10 years this weekend. This is a real thing that we'll be talking about for a very long time.
Yeah.
St. Paul officials declared that state of emergency a couple days ago. We got that karaoke cruise in just in time. By the time the Rock in the 80s cruise comes around in late July, hopefully we will have had a reprieve and things will be back to somewhat close to normal. Neither one of those things matters nearly as much as all the people whose daily lives are being impacted by this.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of the fact that it ain't over till it's over because I got in the car to come here this morning and felt like a monsoon for a few minutes there.
I know.
Still just pounding rain for my drive-in anyway.
I know. Well, it's supposed to be quick moving. I guess that's what they say. It's not
today.
depositing a lot of rain in this particular system before we clear out and hopefully dry out for a little bit. But and with the flooding damage, you've got to fight it while the water's rising, while the water's trying to get into your home on your property. But I know people that have been through these floods, and it's a year or more before they can get it all back together. Not to mention the permanent damage. So, yeah, we're thinking about you. And Tony has volunteered to come out and help someone sandbag this weekend. You can call the talk and text line if you'll.
I have a big roll of brawny paper towels.
That ought
would
to
be a
get
big
the job.
help.
I mean, a really big roll.
Yeah,
How to soak
I'm
up a
here
lot
for
of
you.
that. God, what a mess.
I thought those were your actual muscles. He's just padding his shirt with
right.
Yeah, it's comfy.
If you are sandbagging, and this will sound trite, but honestly, I mean, there is good news, which is that the closest marijuana dispensary to the Twin Cities is about to open later this month.
Yeah, that is good news.
We need it as soon as we can get it. As of tomorrow, you'll see the Prairie Island Indian community is going to open its adult use recreational shop, Island Pesci. That's about an hour from the Twin Cities, if you will.
How about some THC flooding into my bloodstream?
That's going to be across the parking lot from the Treasure Island Resort and Casino in Red Wing.
That's
nice drive.
Hop and a skip.
Beautiful drive.
Yep.
There is a river between here and there. You'll have to cross a few times.
sir.
It might be problematic. But otherwise, I mean, that is actually good news. It's taken a little bit, but we finally got the first cannabis dispensary within striking range, if you will, about 40 miles south of here.
Well, the Native Americans did, Yeah. It's not, the Minnesota legislature still needs about 5 or 6 years to just sit there and mother it for a bit. I don't know. I know the kids want it, but I'm worried about them.
Hey, man, thank God somebody figured it out.
Oh, exactly.
It's a good thing. Here's, I'm curious though. How many folks do you think are going to actually just hop in the car and immediately race down there?
Besides me?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I know a guy who knows a guy, but a lot of people.
Yeah,
Look how many people from the metro. I know a lot of friends when they opened the first dispensary in the state of Minnesota up in the Red Lake Indian Reservation. 3-4 hours north. I don't know exactly how far it was, and they were, caravanning. It was a convoy.
Yeah, right.
Up there, and they were lined up around the block for days. So I imagine quite a few folks going to head down there.
If you got a food truck, go to Red Wing. That's my advice.
It's a National Food Truck Day today.
Is that true?
I think I read that when I was going through when I was doom scrolling this morning.
Wow, I had absolutely no idea. At 7:50, I'm sorry, not at 7:50. We're going to play. Well, we are going to play a game at 7:50. We've got another game. You know what? We're doubling up on TV or not TV. Yeah, because we got to give away boat tickets, and we've got a pretty great one. TV or not TV, you won't want to miss this one. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
It's Friday, and this is the KQ Morning Show, and this is the perfect time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Steve, and Zepp, and Tony, everybody. It is Aloha Friday. It's Movie Review Friday. How about catching a movie? There's some great films out there. And where else would you see the Marcus Theaters? Marcus Theaters, the best theater chain in the country, where every Tuesday, $6 get you to see any movie. Movie reviews. Well, I've already told you about Kevin Costner's Horizon, an American Saga, Chapter 1. It is 3 hours. Boy, but I like Westerns. I have to give it 3 stars. Also opening nationwide today, A Quiet Place Day 1. This is the 3rd chapter of the Quiet Place franchise. More scary, more graphic, more nail-biting. A Quiet Place Day 1. 3 stars. 3 stars. Shh. Okay. Movie news. Downton Abbey 3 will be released September 12th, 2025. And one of the new cast members is Paul Giamatti. I love Paul Giamatti. Can't wait. So do you remember in 1996 there was a $41 million budget movie called Twister? Helen Hunt and Philip Seymour Hoffman and Bill Paxton. Well, the $41 million budget movie made $241 million. And the Twister movie is going to be a sequel. Twister 2 coming out July 19th. And I'm hearing that the special effects in Twister 2 are the best in motion picture history. I can't wait. Ricky Gervais is planning a worldwide tour and a Netflix special called Mortality. And speaking of Netflix, while their corporate offices are still in Los Gatos, California, by 2025, almost all Netflix productions will be done in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Netflix has already built 4 huge major sound stages there, and they plan to build more. Boy, a lot of Hollywood is moving out of California. Personal comment. Well, Tom Selleck wrapped the 15th and final season of Blue Bloods Monday. You know, when I did mornings for just 1 year back home in Hawaii, my radio station played in a softball media league. And Magnum PI had a team in that league, and we played them often. And Tom Selleck played first base on the Magnum team, and he always joined everybody for a beer after the games. Tom Selleck, one of the nicest people I've ever met. I'm going to miss him on television. The funniest line I heard this week came from 98-year-old Dick Van Dyke, who was asked about his age and the age of 81-year-old Joe Biden. Dick Van Dyke said, quote, "Well, I have all my marbles, and I'm old enough to be his daddy," end quote. Put a smile on my face, made me want to sing, "It's Aloha Friday, nowhere till Monday, we're going to play today Aloha Friday. Mele, Kalikamaka, Holy Baka, Hiki Ho, Lili, Yokalani, Lani, Ani, Okay, Ela, Ku, and a cock and a hawk, and hooey, 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 ho.
Bye-bye. Aloha, aloha.
There is the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Here we go. It's June 28th. On this day in 1997, I played a gig in Camden, New Jersey. That's right across the river from downtown Philly. So for all intents and purposes, it's like a Philly gig. Walked off stage into a big backstage dressing room, and there was a giant screen TV and a fight just about to kick off from Las Vegas. Mike Tyson entered the ring for the second time against Evander Holyfield, and we all sat there with our mouths watching wide open as we heard this.
Holyfield is very unhappy. Look at this. It looked as if Tyson bared his teeth at one stage in the exchange.
Yes,
hit his ear.
He hit his ear. That's what Holyfield was in a lot of pain from that. You see the blood on the ear. That was definitely a bite.
That was definitely a bite. Watching Mike Tyson bite Evander Holyfield's ear.
Yeah.
Oh, lick his lips afterwards.
Is a moment that I will never forget. And there was a bunch of us in this room, probably 30 people, all staring at each other, and no one knew what to say. It was like, wait, what? The beginning of what Bill Simmons always called the Tyson zone, which is Mike Tyson entered a point in our culture where if anybody said Mike Tyson did fill in the blank, they could say anything, and you had to think, well, maybe so. Yeah, like no matter what the answer, no matter what the anecdote was, you could no longer say no way. Because if somebody before that fight had said Mike Tyson's going to bite Evander Holyfield's earlobe off, you would have laughed.
A chunk. I mean, he must have. Did you think he swallowed that? Was that ever determined?
No, they
he
found the
spat it
piece.
out. They found a big chunk.
And now he's selling ear gummies.
Yeah, it was
THC ear gummies. He is.
It's great.
Mike Tyson has his own brand of pot and gummies in their ears.
I do have to correct. It wasn't the earlobe. I'm sorry. It was the top part of the ear, which is probably
that's the hard cartilage.
Little tougher to chew through.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday, June the 28th. Good morning at 7:50, which is not that far from now. We're going to be giving away tickets to the KQ Rock the 80s boat cruise. You're going to have to play a game to win those bad boys. Tony's going to put you to the test, but stay tuned because you're going to want to be around for that at 7:50. If you, like me, at some point this week finally looked up and went, okay, wait, what is this Tuah thing I keep reading about and seeing everywhere? The Tuah girl. What does Tuah have to do with anything? Long story very short, it's the recent cautionary tale for what you shouldn't do when you're out partying with friends and drunk and someone approaches you with a microphone and says, hey, can I ask you some questions? And then when the guy says, what about, things in bed? And what, just walk away.
Yeah,
just go
ladies.
back to the bar and have fun because you may end up like Haley Welch, who's the most famous young woman in America this week because she was in Nashville out partying with friends and a guy approaches her who just creates content for the internet and it sounded like this.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
You gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
I get you.
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Hawk too and spit
No,
on
like-
it. Spit on it.
Okay,
Hey.
so that's all it took, and boy, that video hit the internet, and man, it took off. And now, Tuah later, we got people in Nashville peddling hats, $65,000 the first day of selling merch with the Tuah on it. Wherever you look, people are saying Tuah all of a sudden. This is, and here's my first thought, and it's my only thought. Man, what did she think when she got up the next day and realized that thing was everywhere?
I'm rich.
Maybe she's rich, but also, I'll put it to you this way. She's going to have a hard time with every guy she ever goes out with from now on.
Not if she gives it the old Tuah.
I guess not, but boy, that's a lot of pressure to live up to billing that you didn't realize. One night you're just going out with a buddy, like, hey, let's have a couple drinks,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden overnight you're famous. I've read stories that say she's actually back in whatever town she lives in Tennessee and is begging people not to give that information up because the whole world's trying to find her, and she's recognizing this was not good.
The information you just gave up?
Yeah, this is probably not great. Somewhere, I don't know what town it is, and I'm not here to blow her cover, but man.
I don't think I'd take that back home with me. Maybe now's a good time for a summer break, maybe head somewhere else. But it even made it into a broadcast booth for a Cardinals game.
He just spit on his shoulder as he was sitting there and went to spit, a little humid out, I guess, and mouth getting a little bit dry. Didn't quite clear his arm and just landed right on the shoulder.
Tuah. Oh my God.
That nervous laugh. You didn't say that on the broadcast, did you? You actually went there, did you?
You got to spit on that thing, you see. That's what you got to do. You got to Tuah.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
You gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
I will tell you, she is a spitfire, and of course she's drinking, and aren't we all a spitfire when we've been drinking in Nashville? However, that is about a 15-minute video of him interviewing her and her friend on the street.
Oh, is it really?
She is. She's got a lot of personality, so I'm not sure she's like the quiet type when she's sober.
I wouldn't imagine so.
However, yeah.
But so I guess 24, and I mean, short of somebody else coming up and somehow topping it, will be the year of Tuah, added to the list of viral moments that everybody goes, are you kidding? We're really doing this? Because, boy, we're really doing this one. It's just still it's still picking up steam after a full week. But there's, we've been here before. This is not a new road for us where everybody's talking about something somebody did or said that was captured and covered, and suddenly we're just, the over-humiliation of being in that viral moment. There's been some good ones in the past, if you think back to them.
Chocolate rain. Some say dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain. our baby born will die before the sun.
Can I bust you? Can I bust you, Mr. Gorman? So I'm playing this in the studio with Steve this morning. He's like, what the heck is that?
Never heard
There's
of
a guy that's been out on the road for a while.
Minnesota boy.
I missed Chocolate Rain.
Yeah, I don't recall the cat's name. I know they got him on Saturday Night Live after that, and he got his 15 minutes out of that Chocolate Rain.
School books say it can't be here again. Chocolate Rain.
I'm reading about it now. 2007. Yeah, I was busy. Man, I missed a lot in 2007. That's incredible.
Did you really?
I didn't say I missed a lot of good stuff. I just missed a lot of what was going on in the world.
Oh, this was a favorite of everyone's for a hot minute.
Recent polls have shown a fifth of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map.
Oh my God!
Why do you think this is?
South Carolina.
Yeah.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S., it should help South Africa, and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future.
Yes.
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
Uncomfortable.
It's been a while, and it's better than I remembered. U.S. Americans. That is the kind of thing that I would expect to say. I would say words like that if I were falling down a really long staircase. You just have no control over what word. South Africa.
Such as.
I don't have maps. I mean,
such as.
That's incredible.
I love that in the middle of it, you see her eyes sort of perk up, and she goes, "Yeah, I got it. I remember the card I tried to memorize now, but then it just devolves again." And if you thought that was an awkward moment, we all love this awkward moment from, I don't even know his last name. I remember his first name. We share it. Brian, a young sportscaster in Indianapolis.
Won the last Sunday's matchup 94-85, which left the Pacers one game behind the Chicago in the 7th series spot. Let's check out the highlights. Steven Jackson's David. Reggie Miller's looking good.
So sad.
He shoots a three, and it's good. Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
Now, listen, we're sitting here listening to this morning, and I edited that down to about 20 seconds. It's about 4 minutes of him. I mean, he's watching.
He's sweating.
And then you can hear. And then after it's all over, the anchor looks at him, about the same age, and goes, "All right, thanks. Nice job, Brian."
Right.
and boom goes the dynamite. Made it into every broadcast booth for the next year.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny.
Boom goes the dynamite.
I remember all of the people saying "boom goes the dynamite," and I don't think I ever knew why that was a thing all of a sudden.
Funny.
Yeah, I mean, the second time I've heard it, and the first one was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Incredible. I love the idea of a guy going, and Reggie Miller shoots the three, and it's in. We know you're showing we know it's going to go in. It's a highlight, and then passes ahead to the man, and it's good. Boom goes the dynamite. The man. It'd be great if the clip showed a guy, and on the back of his jersey, his last name was the man.
Oh, can we just pick it up from the beginning a little bit because it's so awkward.
Hello, everyone. Well, the Ball State softball team continued to play this weekend, and they were hoping to continue off of their straight 3 out of 4 losses. And so we'll take a look and see how that happened. They started off good, but then eventually the Ball State women's team shut down and ended up doing poorly.
Fantastic.
Oh, no. Okay, we're going to continue on now. The Ladies Cardinals will play an Iowa tournament starting this Friday. Before the Ball State baseball team kicks off its conference season this weekend, the Cards will battle in-state rival Indiana.
Yeah. Oh no.
I had as a broadcasting student myself at Western Kentucky back in the 80s. I just had a moment that sounds like a scene from a John Hughes movie where there was where the queen of the class got her comeuppance. Mm-hmm. Very long story short, there was one woman in the broadcasting department, a girl. We were all sophomores and juniors in college. college. And she came to school, to class, every day dressed like Jane Pauley, about to go on the Today Show. And she acted like she was in Jane, I'm going to be the next whatever she was going to be. I'll be Barbara Walters one day. She walked around with an air that immediately everybody else was like, oh, God, get away from me. She was so arrogant, so much above all of us. And she got the call from the local ABC affiliate on a Friday night somehow. All I know is this. I put the TV on, and she's doing a weather report. A girl that I'm having we're juniors in college, but clearly somebody called, the university was like a feeder to this one TV station in town, and they said, we need someone to come in and do the weather, and they said, she's our best. Go get them. And this girl, who was the queen of the campus broadcasting department, got in front of that camera, and when that light turned red, she clearly... Well, she couldn't make saliva. She couldn't breathe. Awesome. I watched this girl that literally intimidated all of us go, this cloud's coming in. If I showed you the actual broadcast, you would think it was a skit from SNL or SCTV. Right. She melted on camera, and I was yelling and screaming and punching. It was like I was watching a basketball game. I was so happy about it. Fantastic. And I had 2 days to think of what to say to her, because I was going to mention it, and I couldn't think of the perfect thing to say until I actually saw her on Monday, and I just go, hey, I saw you Friday night. That was great. That's all I said. And she looked at me and took a deep breath, turned, and walked out of the room. Yeah, without a word.
Self-aware.
All I had to say was, hey, that was great. And just destroyed her. She was asking for it.
Absolutely. I wonder whatever happened to her. Yeah. She married a rich dude.
I guarantee you she did.
No, here we go. And so, if you put in Hawk Tuah, that's Hawk with a W, just like the one flying around above your head.
Yep.
Tuah, Tuah. And here's the mashup we deserve.
You gotta give him that Hawk. Hawk.
That works.
Hawk.
Unbelievable.
Every time.
Blair once paid.
There was one story I read that she's a preschool teacher, and she'd lost her job because all the kids were walking around spitting on each other. That turns out to be completely false.
Yeah,
she's like a bartender somewhere.
You punch that in, and it's there's about 1 billion videos already up. She'll get her 15 minutes out of it, and there's merchandise already being out there, and she's hiding from the public, like as you do.
These things happen.
Remember, Chris Crocker. Remember him? He just went deep. Everybody tried to get him on their show, and he just couldn't emotionally recover from.
Leave Britney Spears alone right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Leave Britney Alone guy.
Yeah, Chris Crocker, his name. And I remember after that, everybody wanted to capitalize on his viral moment, and he was offered all of these interviews, and it turns out the guy is very sincerely worried about Britney Spears, or was at that time. That was something, I believe.
He had every reason to be.
Yeah, as we now know, he had every reason to be. But he wasn't going to play off it. He didn't want to profit from it. I guess you got to give him some credit there. Sincere.
Man. The Hawk Tuah girl, her life is just a totally different thing than it was a week ago. It's kind of like you could say, assuming she is going to, like you said, this 15 minutes, and then it's going to crash, and then she's going to be desperately chasing that fame. Well, we would call that a shit show if we wanted to call it something, which is kind of like a manure truck in a certain sense.
Oh yeah.
Oh, especially if a manure truck crashes into your house. We'll tell you all about it. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS. The KQ Morning Show is back, and we always want to hear from you. Call or text 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday, June the 28th. Good morning. Let's see. We are about 20 minutes away from playing a game to give away some tickets to the KQ Rockin' the 80s cruise at the end of July. You're going to want to be a part of that. We'll let you know when is the right time. At 9:25 today, KP Anderson is going to be with us. A very funny gentleman, not only as a stand-up comedian, but one of the guys who has produced on a whole lot of great TV. The Soup, most importantly, a show that we all really dug for years. A big part of that show. He's at Acme tonight and tomorrow night, and he's going to be here in studio at 9:25. I look very forward to chatting with KP Anderson. In Connecticut, if you're thinking about spelling it. Remember that C in the middle. A little bit of a problem earlier this week. There was an intersection. There were some confused drivers. One thing led to another, and, well, a manure truck got smacked into, spilled its load, if you will.
Grody.
Kind of grody. It sounded kind of like this.
I heard bang, like bang, 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 loud metal. The truck was upside down, and it finally came to a stop after it hit my neighbor's car. Literally a waterfall of brown. All of a sudden, we see the sewer come out of the truck, and it was just flooded down our property. Everybody kept asking, is it really bad? Is it foul? And I'm like, no, seriously, the windows were open.
What's Connecticut usually smell like?
Smells like the thing. It smells like the armpit between New York and Boston. Exactly what
Waterfall of brown.
A waterfall of brown is going to be my new saying for a lot of things.
This was human poop, right?
I believe it was.
I'm looking at the truck. That appears to be one of those Biffy trucks. Was
like a septic tank cleaning truck type
Porta potty.
Yeah, right. Not like, we find out in the countryside, one of those good old cow manure trucks.
Yeah, no.
Those aren't bad. That's just a little recycled grass is all that is, but human, that's a bad kind of stink.
It's a whole different situation. I can't imagine ever walking out of a public restroom again without announcing that there was a waterfall of brown. It's just going to be the perfect way to give anybody some insight into what was just going on in there.
The waterfall of
whether
brown.
It's true or not. A manure truck, man.
Name that movie.
I can't name that movie. I'm sorry to say.
Back to the Future 2.
Oh, never saw
Biff.
Only saw the first one.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't remember much about 2.
I'm losing credit.
Then there was Back to
They went to the future and then they came back again.
That's
What's
right.
there to remember?
There's nothing to remember.
I have been told, I have it on good authority, Back to the Future 2 is the best of the 3.
Is it?
I've been told that.
Oh.
It's actually really great. I wouldn't know. Like I saw the first one and never got around to following up.
Yeah.
That was 3, the one in the Old West. That was
the Western one, yeah.
No clue about that. I did see, you know how you're scrolling through social media at times, and then a reel pops up because Instagram just thinks you're going to want to see it. Every now and again, they get it right. I think I've mentioned this. Mostly drumming videos and snake videos. My love and my fear, right there, right side by side. But I saw, for whatever reason, it was the final scene and then the curtain call of the final episode ever of Family Ties. Bringing it all back to the Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. And I was like, huh? And it's the final scene. I don't remember this, but I guess he gets a job and he's leaving town and he's saying goodbye to everybody in the family, but he doesn't want an emotional scene, so he shakes everyone's hand so he can just leave and not cry. And he walks out of the house, and then he comes running back in and goes, I love you guys. And they all have a big family hug, and that's how it ends. But then they showed the credits. The cast come out to the live studio audience and say goodbye for the last time. And I watched that whole thing last night. And all I could think was, I forgot how small Michael J. Fox was. The guy's tiny.
A little guy.
Yeah,
just a little fella. Man.
Squirt, that's a good way to put it.
Good actor and everything I ever saw him in. But, I was just like, man, he had a run there for a minute.
Yeah, they couldn't find an actress short enough for him. You know how they do with Tom Cruise and, Mel Gibson, Tom Hardy, I guess, try to find those short actors. Well, I guess he worked with Charlize Theron, Tom Hardy did. But, Michael J. Fox was always looking right at their throat.
Yeah, that's why they build little boxes to stand on or little ditches to stand in, one or the other. It's usually how that works. We've been talking about a lot of viral moments on the show today. The KQRS Facebook page, you can weigh in with some of the viral moments you remember. We're going to go down a bunch of those. We'll play some more a little later in the show. All in the wake of the new Tuah girl. Similarly, there's a viral moment happening in a small town. We just heard John Mellencamp's small town in Iowa. This is Barnum, Iowa.
Oh.
There is a Barnum. Are you familiar with that at all?
For some reason, I didn't even look at it. I saw this story and glanced at it, and you'll find out in a moment why I glanced at it, but I didn't look at the town. I know Barnum.
Okay, Barnum, Iowa. If you go to, 324 Front Street, there's a bar there, a bar and grill. It's called the Junkyard Bar and Grill, and it has gone viral because of a Google Map image. You know, Google Maps, you go, and then you can zone into an address, and then you can even see a photo of that address.
Yeah, if you're house shopping.
Or you want to look up your childhood home. Haven't seen that since 1972. What's it look like? And you do it, and you're like, hey, it looks different. And, oh, there's that tree I planted. Or, hey, there's that topless gal. Yeah, that's what happened here. A Google Map car driving by, taking photos of everything, was in the area, and they let you know when they're coming, and they ask people to kind of, hey, we're going to be driving by. Don't do anything too crazy. So she didn't. She just ran out into the parking lot and took her top off. Yeah. Flashed her breasts at the Google Map car as it took pictures, and that ended up hitting the internet.
That's fun. That's playful. I like it.
It's fun. It's playful. I mean, it's funny to me, though, because, you can find all kinds of nudity on the internet. It's real easy. But the fact that it's just a person that you've never met, a normal person from a small town America, did it on purpose, that gets everyone. That gets everyone's attention.
That's like when they dropped the women topless law here. Can't walk around topless in Minneapolis parks. I don't know, it was several years ago. I think that was even pre-pandemic. They're like, no, women can do that if they want. And guys got all hopped up. We got a little whipped up. We thought we might see some boobs. Yeah. And of course, I can pick up my phone right now and look at an endless scroll of boobs. But yeah, seeing them in real time from someone, just an average amateur out there. It's something about it. I don't know what it is. The
greatest Google Map story I've ever heard about this, where something is captured on the Google Map. A guy was seen outside of a market in a town called Galapagos, Spain. Just an older gentleman. There was a photo of this market, and there's a dude standing there. It looks like he's talking to the shopkeeper. They're having a little chat. That gentleman was identified as a mafia boss who'd been on the lam for 20 years. He busted out of prison in Rome in 2002, and in 2022, this image hits Google Maps, and somebody went, hey, is that Giacchino Gamino? And the answer was, as a matter of fact, it is. He was in Spain living under a different name for 20 years.
What in the hell?
He's just going about his business.
He can't
going
hide.
out to the market, getting himself an orange, doing what he could. He was a member of a Sicilian group known as Stida. He was one of the most wanted gangsters in Italian history. He was arrested, and he told, when the cops busted in on him, he said, apparently, how did you find me? I haven't even called my family in 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you imagine explaining to a guy, oh, well, the Google Map car must have driven by at the exact moment you were outside of a market in this little town in Spain.
This is unsettling. There will come a time in my life where I'll need to hide. I'll need to leave in the middle of the night and never call anyone, or, and just try and disappear off the face of the planet. But I don't know if that's possible anymore. I'm a little worried about it.
Well, just keep your eye out for those Google cars, man.
Now, there was a guy that got busted. There was a story some years ago. A guy got busted. His wife saw on Google Maps his car in someone else's driveway, Got him busted,
Yeah, there's a few of these. There was a kidnapper. A kidnapping and sexual assault case was solved. Police used a geofence warrant and got data off of a guy through his phone to figure out where he had been, all through Google Maps somehow. It's pretty crazy. There were some muggers in the Netherlands that were on the lam, and somebody was surfing through Street View, and he spotted his assailants, and they were able to ID them. I mean, there's just lists of crimes that were solved by Google Maps. I can't imagine that's anything that Google wants to. That was hardly their intent.
No, and they've gotten into a little trouble too, because some of those aerial shots have shown, say, a lady in her backyard sunbathing.
Yeah,
and
right.
And then the weirdos like Ryder get online and they find that kind of stuff, and she gets
you got to catch those sunbathers.
You got to bust them, and so they get in a little bit of trouble. So they have to go through and pixelate this stuff, but they miss the boobies in Iowa at the dive bar.
Happens. It happens.
They're pixelated now, by the way. I know I've got buddies out there going, what's that, Barnum, you said? Iowa? What was the name of that place? Yeah, it's pixelated now.
God damn it. You're just going to have to settle for all those porn sites.
Yeah, right.
I just think it's so weird it made it through in the first place because I had a buddy in Nashville who drove the Google car part-time for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was told, hey, if somebody does something weird, you got to stop recording and you'll have to go back later. Because kids would jump out and do the truffle shuffle when they saw him coming by.
That's when you stop and you get your phone out and you make it your own viral moment on your own social media. But Google
leave
doesn't.
it off Google Maps.
They don't
want a part of that.
That's fun. That's a crazy job. How do you get that job? Just driving around.
You're trying to be an audio engineer, and that's not making ends meet, so you look for part-time work.
Okay.
Sounds lucrative.
Yeah.
How are you with in-town driving for 12 hours a day? Pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Did you say it was hard to drive and manipulate like the equipment at the same time?
And I think it does it all on its own. You just kind of do a start-stop sort of thing. Have you seen the Google cars? They have the giant ball on top of them.
I've seen them, yeah.
So you can pause it, but
wouldn't you call friends and let them know where you're going to be when, so that they could just be in the background?
You can't tell people not to.
I'd set it up. I would totally set it up where like someone's choking. Two guys are in a fight, or there's, you got to set something up, or where someone's got like a crossbow and there's pointing it at someone that doesn't see its cut. Just something.
Have a barbecue going with like a mannequin leg sticking out of the grill or something like that.
By God, the wood chipper. Just get a wood chipper and some ketchup and a shoe and just go full Buscemi on that thing. It'd be great.
Yes.
I'd totally get on Google Maps with that. That'd be awesome. Or just sitting on the roof of your house, just like anything. Come on.
I mean, let your imagination go. Have some fun with it.
The first time I saw one of those cars, I really was taken aback. I mean, I just stared at it like, wait. Oh, that's how? Because I, like anybody, was like, who's doing these? How is there a picture of every house on the planet suddenly on Google Maps? And then I finally did see the car drive by, and I just was gawking at it like I'm from the 1800s. I was like, oh, it's a Google car.
It's horseless.
It's got cameras and a guy in it and everything.
What I thought was, it's that contraption. That camera is huge. I mean, it's 2024. I've got a camera on my phone, but that thing is, I guess, it's got to, get it in high definition and surround and all that good stuff.
Not exactly a viral hoax, but the kind of hoax that gets people right where they live, literally in Northeast, up on Central Avenue, in a neighborhood that is mostly local businesses, not a lot of chains here. 1851 Central Avenue is the location where there was a store called Half Fancy that had closed earlier this year. A sign was placed up in the window, Starbucks coffee coming soon.
Okay.
And people are like, what, Starbucks here? Wow, that's kind of cool. And there's a QR code. And so it was like, more information. Just take your phone, hit the QR code. And as is, often the case, turned out not to be information about the soon-to-be open Starbucks location, but instead it was just a good old-fashioned Rickroll. Rick Astley, thanks to Dave Grohl, has had quite a run these last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, he has. I mean, there was the whole Rick rolling thing, which has been around longer than that, and that sort of brought him back into the public limelight, I guess, and sort of tongue-in-cheek. But yeah, then he got some street cred with the Foo Fighters and Dave Grohl. I forget who jumped on stage with whom first, but wasn't it?
I think the way I remember it, they were at like the Mount Fuji Fest in Japan, and I think Foo Fighters just played that song. They just busted it out because they knew they were going to be on the same day. Like Rick Astley had played a different stage. They probably had the
and
rock
they do.
stage.
They'll throw down a disco song every once in a while.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And then they had him come out to join them, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Rick's doing a Foo Fighters song in his set. It's pretty good. I give Dave Grohl credit, man. That guy from day one. I read something once where he said, Well, the local scene, when I was a kid in the local scene, it was like little gangs and clubs and you're not cool, we're cool. And he goes, I just hated all that. It was like, like frat row at a campus or something. I just never wanted that. So I just kind of think anybody that wants to hang out, come hang out. I like all music. I like all people. And it was really cool because like bands, you get out there on the scene, and it's just like the local music scene, but just bigger. Like, even if you're like on worldwide tours, you're just like, there's the cool kids and the not cool kids, and where do we fit in? And you just tell everybody, and he was the only guy to say, like, weren't we trying to get away from that crap? Why don't we all just kind of hang out and be cool?
Yeah, Grohl is awesome.
Yeah, no, he does that, and I think also his added, I think what gives him that attitude is he was in freaking Nirvana. Well, yeah. After you've been in Nirvana, you can literally everything you do is cool. You want to bring Rick Astley up? Suddenly that's very cool. Yep. Who's gonna say, well, Dave Grohl, he's just jumped the shark. He's not cool. You're in Nirvana. You were in Nirvana. You're cool for the rest of your life.
Grohl's got a food truck too because he just likes to serve food to people and have barbecues and hang out.
Yeah,
and
right.
He does the whole week. I mean, he spends hours and hours and hours getting that meat ready. I mean, he's everything he does, he's obsessed with. I went to see him in Memphis in 2011 or 12, and I walked into the dressing room, and he hopped, hey, man, hey, I walk over, big hug, how you doing? I look over his shoulder, and sitting in a chair in the corner of his dressing room is Winona Judd.
Weird.
And in full, like she was getting ready to go on stage. She was decked out. And I'm kind of hugging him, and I said quietly, I go, is that Winona Judd? And he goes, yeah. I go, what's she doing here? He goes, I don't know. But he was okay. I was like, that's the coolest thing. He goes, yeah, she just showed up, said she wants to see the show. She's cool. And I'm like, he goes, hey, Winona, this is Steve. I'm like, hey. She goes, hey, Steve. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the greatest thing. Like, hey, guys, Winona Judd's here. Okay, bring her in, whatever. Great. I loved it. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then, of course, I don't have to tell you what would have happened if she turned up unannounced at a band I used to play with.
What?
Hey, so it's time to have some fun. And by fun, what I mean is it's time to play a game because we got some tickets to give away. What are we doing here, Zep?
We're doing sales pitch today. All right, so there's Beat the Toaster, which we're going to get to on Monday. That's that's a stressor right there, but I think sales pitch is right there, neck and neck with it. You're going to sales pitch the KQ Morning Show. We'll need a couple of callers this morning, 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. 2 callers for tickets for the Rock the 80s boat cruise with the KQ Morning Show. It's sales pitch this morning. Dial up, good luck, and hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, June the 28th. Good morning. Let's see what's happening in about a month from right now. Oh, that's right. July 26th. Stillwater Boats are going to be on the KQ Rock the Boat 80s cruise. That's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
And you know what else is fun is giving away tickets and having a couple of listeners join us on that bad boy. So we thought what we'd do right now, as it is 7:50-ish, is we'd play a game. Tony, what sort of gauntlet are we throwing down for the listeners today?
Well, we need to round us up another caller to participate as well on this. But we're going to play this fine game.
Always be closing. Always be closing.
What are you selling?
Okay, what are you selling?
That was my sales pitch.
Really? That's your sales pitch?
So this is your sales pitch?
Here's the pitch.
Yeah, we're going to test your powers of persuasion, your sales skills. We're going to give you something, a concept, an idea, a thing, anything at all. All you have to do is sell us on it, the benefits, why it's a good thing. It's kind of like Shark Tank, and we'll give you 30 seconds of quality time, and then we'll vote on your pitches. So good luck to you.
We're more like dolphins. We're in the easy sell. No sharks here.
No sharks here. But we do need a second contestant, 651-989-ROCK. So light up those phones. We do need someone else to come in and be a part of the game. So while we're waiting for that call, I will remind you, if you're looking for this show after the fact, the Steve Gorman and the KQ Morning Show podcast, you can get it anywhere you get podcasts. You can get it anytime you want. The podcast sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. It's been a minute. Going to have to get in there again.
Thinking of Hot Club, they've got a new Mexican pizza on the menu, too, that I have not wolfed down, but that's what the weekends are for. Now, are we going to have... Now, we had Michelle on. We heard her earlier on a playback. She was on yesterday playing a game with us, and she really, 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 really wanted to find her dad's hearing aid, which I understand she did find. He lost it under a bush while he was mowing. But she really, really, really wanted to rock the boat with us, and I went ahead and just took the initiative and invited Michelle back on today to be one of our contestants. I didn't know it was going to be sales pitch, though. That's a toughie. But I wanted Michelle to come back and take another crack at it. You can blame this one on me if you wanted to play and you didn't get through, but doggone it. My heart just went out to Michelle yesterday.
Gesture.
No thanks. Every once in a while, I'm capable.
So with that in mind, though, do we have a second caller yet, or do we still need someone else to come in?
We had a second caller. Ryder, do you have Michelle on as well?
Michelle is on right now. Morning, Michelle.
Morning.
All right, there we go. She's back.
All right, you get
ready
a good
for more.
Good night's sleep, Michelle. You rested?
Yep.
All right, and you found the hearing aid, Dad's hearing aid. Was it under the bush?
We were crawling on our hands and knees in that dirt looking for it, but we got it.
All right. Fair enough.
My Michelle.
All right. So the game today, Michelle, it's a tough one. Sales pitch. Tony's going to explain to you. He's going to give you a concept, and you're going to have to sell us on it. You ready for this?
Oh, God. I hope so. My brain's not working yet.
Uh-oh. Well, let's see what happens. Tony, Tony, be gentle.
Just put it on autopilot. All right, Michelle, the 4th of July is all about the fireworks. So sell us on how and why we need to somehow incorporate fireworks into our everyday lives, making it a regular part of our routines. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead, Michelle.
It'd be a blast. Oh my God. You gotta watch out for those firecrackers and those snakes that are all over the ground. They're going off shooting this way and that way and every way. You never know. And fireworks are the best. And I'm not even sure if I'm doing this right, but I don't know. Boom, boom, boom.
Goes the dynamite.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. All right.
There's your 30 quality seconds.
I'm digging that, Michelle. So
I like the enthusiasm.
Yeah, so it's going to be a blast. You got to watch out for those snakes. We got some boom, boom, booms. That made sense to me.
Got some puns in there, some sound effects. Hell yeah.
Right on. Someone's wide awake now.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, don't rock the boat, baby.
That's right. No.
Good advice.
Forget it. No doubt about it. All right, so Tony, remind me, we go back and forth on this one,
Yes,
correct?
we do. They each get 2 pitches. Next up should be Brian from Maple Grove to give his sales pitch.
Brian chickened out, so we're actually going to go to Stephanie.
Stephanie, you with us?
No doubt about it.
Stephanie, you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, turn that radio down. Let's get after this. Are you ready to play sales pitch?
I am, yes.
Beautiful. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Steph, here's your deal. You're opening a new business and you're looking for investors. Convince us why your proposal to bring back cassettes is a good one. 30 seconds, go.
To bring back SEX?
Cassettes.
Cassette tapes.
You know
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
All right, stop. Okay.
Sure.
Do you know what a cassette is? I'm just curious, actually.
Cassette tapes, like we used to listen to music
cassette
with?
tapes.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
I
Fantastic.
thought there was going to be a Jen gap here, and she was going to hit us with the old, what the hell is that?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
All right, hit it, Steph.
All right, go.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so when the internet goes down and your kids have nothing to do and you're having a Halloween party, you're going to need to have a pencil to rewind the tape when it gets stuck in the tape deck. B, you're going to need the tape for the music for you have the house with all of the accessories, and you're going to need to have the music.
Sure.
I think Michelle is amazing, and she should get the ticket.
No, Stephanie.
You were very impressive.
You did a wonderful job, Miss South Carolina.
You did great.
Oh, I'm teasing. No, that was pretty
Thank
good,
you,
actually.
thank you.
No, that was pretty good. You had, I mean, right away when you said when the internet goes down, I'm thinking, where the hell is my old boombox?
I love the pencil to twist it, too. That's a great touch.
No, there's theater of the mind. I was right there at a Halloween party, rewinding a cassette tape with a pencil. That was great. You're going to get another round at it, so we get everybody gets 2 shots here, so very happy to say. So very well done. Let's go back to Michelle. Michelle, it's time for round 2. I'm assuming you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. She was good, though. She was good.
Yeah, she was good.
Mutual admiration.
All right, let's go. What do you got, Tony?
Michelle Madeira, in your mind, finally, the time has come to declare that consuming or even making Rice Krispie bars is illegal. Explain why it has to be made a law now. 30 seconds, Michelle. Hit it.
Well, we get those new special Rice Krispie bars, when they open those dispensaries, it helps you melt log, get some of that good Rice Krispies in you, put a little marshmallow in there. You'd have a great day. I mean, nowadays, gooey, ooey Rice Krispie bars, ain't no worry about making them again. They just make them for you. Come and get you one. Rice Krispie bar.
Kind of a Carnival Barker quality there.
That's how you sell it. That's old school right there.
Man. All that was missing was like the Mr. Softy song. There it is. Just the truck song. That was great.
Well done.
Yeah, very well done, Michelle. You're on a roll. All right. Sit tight. It's time for Stephanie, round 2. Steph, you're still with us, right?
Yes.
All right, great. This is your moment. Let's do it.
It's your time to shine, Steph. Okay, as opposed to a small welcome mat you place outside your front door, why don't you sell us on why instead you should place an expensive and lush Persian rug out there? 30 seconds, go.
Okay, so when the Google car drives by, we can set up an elaborate stage and have it go viral, and then I'll share the funds with everyone.
Nice. What else?
We'll go on a fancy vacation. We won't have to work anymore. It'll be fantastic.
Sounds good to me. Still got time. Anything else?
Okay. We'll do all the fun, good feel things.
Did you hear what Steph did there? She pulled together like 3 topics we had on this morning. She's not only been listening and paying attention, she's linking them together. That's pretty savvy. That is pretty. We've got ourselves a tough one this morning.
Pretty savvy,
Good stuff.
Steph. Way to flex.
Yeah.
The fact
love
that
you guys.
You've been paying attention. Well, we love that from you. Thank you so much. So
conflicted.
We don't have a point system. We have judges voting here. So boy, we're gonna have to weigh the pros and cons of all these sales pitches. Tony, I'm gonna ask you to go first. Where are you leaning here?
Boy, Steph offered up some love, and that got me right in the aorta.
Right.
She handled herself with aplomb and calmly.
Yeah, that was skill.
Man, that was pretty impressive, I gotta say. Okay, so that's 1 for Steph. Ryder, you're gonna have to place a vote here.
I mean, I got to go with my girl, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
The dancing, the rocking the boat, rocking the boat. Michelle is who I want to party with. And, the Rice Krispie bar thing. I mean, tasty treats.
Yeah.
Really nailed it.
Good point.
All right. Zep, where are you feeling here?
I mean, I was feeling in my pockets is what I was feeling for a coin so I could flip it. That's how close this one is for me. But, I think just as badly as I want Stephanie on that boat for free with us, I think I'm going to go with Michelle on this one. She just had that little extra sales spin. Maybe it's the South Dakota, the redneck in me she spoke to. So I'm going to go with Michelle.
Okay, going to go with Michelle. That's that's putting the pressure on me here with the final vote. I'm gonna. Steph, I love the internet going down. I love the party. I love that you strung together all the various threads of the show. But but Michelle, she said you got to watch out for snakes, and I hate snakes, and I can't get past it. I'm gonna side with Michelle on this one, and it's a 51-49 vote.
Yeah,
but it looks like Michelle has won the tickets today. Steph, thank you for jumping in late and playing as well as you did. Michelle, you got tickets on the cruise.
Woohoo, coochie coo, yeah.
Yeah, coochie coo, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They're on today.
Well, thank you for calling in. Both of you did great. Thank you both. We appreciate
She was awesome. She was awesome, too.
Yep, it was great.
No kidding. Well, I hope Steph joins us anyway. Because what I want to do, I want to say, let's have Steph back on again, but I'm starting a bad habit. We can't do that on the show, but yeah, that was fun. I just like the fact that Steph was clearly paying attention this morning and listening to the previous segments and just cherry-picked just about every one of the topics we hit on this morning. That was superb.
Woohoo, coochie coo.
Hang on, now you're making me rethink my
vote
here.
We got to feel good about it. We got to feel good about it.
All right. I got to get
There was
out of
no
here
wrong
in
answer.
peace. Okay, glad to
No
know
losers
that.
there.
Glad to know that. This is the time of day when I'm usually starting to feel a little peckish. I'm just starting to get hungry. You're right around the halfway point.
Yeah.
Every single day. And it reminds me that I just read something about a guy in North Dakota arrested this week after he broke into a garage. Okay. He's riding this is his story anyway. He told police he was riding his bike home from work and he saw a garage door that was almost fully open.
Okay.
Almost fully open. And what he noticed was inside that garage was one bag of animal crackers.
Okay.
He said, man, I was just so damn hungry and I saw those animal crackers. I had to get in there.
Yeah.
Went in and he only intended to grab the animal crackers, of course. But then the police searched his backpack. They found a bunch of weed, a lockpick tool, multiple wrenches, craftsman gear, and 2 pairs of women's underwear.
Couple pairs.
There's no telling. I don't know if he got those from the garage, if he had those with him already.
Yeah.
He said the underwear were the property of his girlfriend's. Maybe she tends to leave the house without him, so he's always got an extra backup pair. I'm not sure.
Sounds like a pretty good boyfriend.
But those animal crackers, sometimes they truly just call your name, and damn the torpedoes, you got to go get them.
No, thankfully he didn't have to use his lockpick.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was almost fully open. I finished the job with the
for some animal crackers. Is that right?
That would be, what do they call that? A crime of opportunity?
I think so. I think that what they would call that is just a lousy excuse, a lousy story.
Yeah. I feel like there was an animal cracker thievery story and when I saw this, I flagged it. And I was like, I either accused someone or was accused of taking a little individual pack of animal crackers once in my life, and I can't. It was like a distant bell ringing. You're like, do I hear that? Am I remembering that? Am I making this up? But there was some animal cracker malfeasance in my life at one point. I definitely remember the time I was accused of and found guilty of, with good reason, because I was guilty, of taking a kid's Ziploc bag full of goldfish.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't resist those.
Yeah, no.
In a school desk, like 3rd grade. And what happened was I was going back to my seat and I was goofing around, talking, whatever. And it was these were not the one-piece desks. It was like a chair that would literally push away and a desk with a little shelf in there. You'd put all your notebooks into the desk and stuff.
Yeah.
And I sat down in the wrong seat. Just one in front of where I'm supposed to go. And there was a Ziploc bag, like a sandwich baggie, not the kind you could seal. This is before that, the kind you folded over the flap, to close.
Yeah.
But instead of it holding a sandwich, it just held a bunch of goldfish.
Yeah.
And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, I need those damn goldfish right now. And I took them and went right back to my seat, one seat behind that one, opened them up, and just one at a time was just working goldfish. And you couldn't, and it wasn't Cheetos. It wasn't like the orange was everywhere, but it was still goldfish. It was enough. Just totally busted. And I was like, yeah, sorry, just hungry, and what are you going to do?
Until you said you snacked on them, I thought you meant real goldfish, the actual fish.
Oh no, sorry.
Suspended
like
in
when
water.
you're leaving the fair with your little bag and your goldfish into the pet store.
Like, what'd you do with them? I ate them.
You just had to eat those things. That's how you do, It's not a fraternity story, but you don't leave your goldfish crackers unattended. If I'm in school, they're going with me, because someone's going to nab. That doesn't make it right, Steve.
Doesn't make it right.
It's not necessarily wrong.
I'm not victim blaming. I'm simply saying they should have known better. They should have known who was lurking.
Have you guys ever taken anything out of the company refrigerator?
You know what the funniest one I saw? Some years ago, someone had put up a sign. It was like, who has the nerve to do this? How dare you? Someone had taken it was like their Nutrisystem diet food And someone, DJs are notorious for taking other people's food, but they actually dipped into that. And she's like, how low do you have to go? There was this 50-page note.
Oh my God!
They had eaten her special dietary
really
menu item.
As there's a lot of times you guys will make reference to the old days. Coming in radio through the side door late. See, I never had the old someone stealing other people's food out of the fridge experience. I know there's a refrigerator here in the building. I've never opened it. I mean,
you don't want to touch it.
I wouldn't these days. Yeah, no, yeah. I wouldn't these days. There's probably still things in there there are probably things in there that are alive at this point. But
back in the day, it was just a free for all.
We laughed. We'd come to work in the morning, and there would be Tupperware in there, and we'd laugh, and we're like, "Thanks for the food." It wasn't you were unabashed about it,
Wow.
Just leave the Tupperware laying around on the tables out there, and thank you very much. And that was it. Every once in a while, I'd take the napkin that I used or the paper towel and put it back in the Tupperware and snap it up and put it back in there. But don't be leaving food around. We don't have those kind of rules around here. But then we got an HR department there for a while, and we had to behave ourselves.
These things happen. They just want to take away all your fun.
Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
I'm just looking for a rogue PB&J, and now I got to fill out paperwork.
I think the idea was that if everyone did it, then one person wasn't going to be a jerk or a loser or get into trouble. If everyone did it, then it was just a fair game. I just assumed people were leaving food behind for the DJs.
I can tell you this: in early days, being in local band, one house, two bands, like 6 to 7 people on any given night. 4 of us paid rent, and then another 3 or 4 crashing on the floors at all times. Just a proper rock and roll flop house in Atlanta, Georgia, in the late '80s for a while. Any food that if you wanted it, you better eat it quick.
Yeah.
I mean,
take it with you.
Come back from the grocery store and you got like 3 ramen noodles and a mac and cheese. In 40 minutes, it's gone, and you're like, what? I just took a shower. What the hell happened? And no one would ever admit to having just eaten that box of mac and cheese. Like, there's a pan in the sink with cheese residue and a spoon. You're like, who did this? Nothing. I mean, everything you brought into that house was gone immediately. Just scarfed.
Yep.
Yeah, it took a while for me to figure that one out.
Them's the rules.
Yeah, that wasn't a one-off. That's just how it is. Took a while. Anybody ever go to a fortune teller? You ever experience that in real life? I never have. Have you been?
Oh yeah, all the time. Psychics, fortune tellers.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of them are shockingly accurate.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten any bad news?
No, nothing like prophetic that I wanted to avoid. Thank goodness.
I want to get a little more information on that, but I do have a question. Have any of them ever looked at you and said, you are about to be the victim of a crime?
Interesting.
Yeah, think about that one, because there's a fortune teller who's giving people that information as a heads up, and I'll explain it in a minute. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, June the 28th. Good morning. It looks like at least over these parts, the rain has stopped for now. Man, I had a monsoon I was driving in this morning for a few minutes there, but hopefully it was a quick moving system that came through this morning. Sunny hours are ahead, apparently, but my gosh, there's still... We have enough rain. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done with it. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're at the end of June, and I'm thinking about how much time I've spent out in the sun this summer, and the answer is not much. A lot of rain, a lot of cloudy days.
No.
I'm ready for hey, it's summer. Let's go. Come on, July. Get me on the golf course, July. Do me a favor. Got to get out on the boat. Got to have fun. Let's go. We are very happy to have you with us here this morning. I asked before the break if any of us had ever been to see a fortune teller. And Tony, you chirped up and said, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Was this a store you went into? Was it a place was it Lady Carmen will read your palm? What was it? Was it a crystal ball? What was happening?
The crystal ball. Well, there's 2 that stand out the strongest for me. One, I was working at Cecil's Deli in St. Paul, famous landmark, wonderful time. And there's a woman who used to come in. She was a regular, and she was kind of known around town in Highland Park and St. Paul for her predictions and such. And she came to the counter. She grabbed my hand. She just said, honey, let me tell you 3 things. 1, you're going to be famous. 2, you're going to live near water, and 3, you're going to go to another planet. So,
wow.
I don't know what the famous part. Well, radio, little notoriety.
Sure.
Live near water. I'm close to Minnehaha Creek.
You certainly are.
I lived in L.A. for a while. The planet we're waiting on to go to another planet.
Well, your
I'm
mind
hoping for
is.
that one. Yes, but it was a company party, and they had a psychic there for like entertainment purposes. Okay. And I remember my last trip I took with my dad right before he passed away was we went to Washington, D.C., and we wanted to get my mom a gift, and he got her this little decorative mirror. Okay. Really cool.
Yeah.
It was on the wall. So whenever I would go over to visit my mom, I'd go walk by the mirror, I'd give it a little tap, and go, "Hey, Pop."
Yeah.
That's how I would just say hello.
Nice.
And I went to see the psychic at the company party, and she's like, your dad is he's paying attention to you. He's watching out for you. And I see him. He's got his hands placed, and he's looking through a square. It's he's looking out at you and paying attention, and I think it's a mirror.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I just got the chills. It was very cool. I think some people absolutely. I think some people have the legit gift. There's a lot of hucksters out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of
that's pretty great.
disreputable gypsies. But
all right, I've never done it, but if the person who's called that mirror shot correctly, I'd probably take a few minutes, see what they cooked up. Yeah, that's really cool. That's
sure.
So that's not an Oda Mae Brown situation. Although Oda Mae Brown, as it turned out, actually did have the gift, even though she was a huckster. Of course, I'm talking about Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Ghost. That's my lone fortune teller experience, really, in life. I just saw that movie a couple times.
Well, she helped Swayze.
Sure,
got to give her props for that.
Well, the reason this was even on my mind is that there are a handful of customers of a fortune teller in Florida who basically, she didn't say it in so many words, but if you saw her, there was a good chance that you were about to be the victim of a burglary, maybe even robbed at gunpoint. Because she was the one robbing her clients at gunpoint.
Okay.
She's been using her services as a ruse. She gets into your home to give you your fortune, and then she steals your cash and your jewelry, pulls a gun on you. That's pretty strong. I mean, you gotta hope she at least would say, I just had a vision. I'm sorry. Your jewelry, is it? Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna ask. Just show me where it is. Bring me to it now. And this is my little friend. This is crazy.
Well, like Tony mentioned, the hucksters out there. There's plenty of frauds, and they come and they scam people out of their money, but they don't do it so directly. She just, took a shortcut rather than weaving some sort of tale where they give up a bunch of money to, get some prophecy in their life. She's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Here's a gun. Give me your money.
It's pretty great. Right near Tampa. Her name is Carola Mitchell. And last month, the police have arrested her now, but last week she went into a trailer park, I should say last month. She knocked on a woman's door and said, "Hey, are there any good Mexican restaurants around?" And as the woman is telling her, she goes, "Hey, you know what? How about, can I get a glass of water from you?" And the woman says, "Sure," gets her glass of water. Once she's inside, she said, I'm a palm reader. You've been very helpful. Let me read your palm." And so by that point, she's just got you. And the woman sits down, says, "Sure," pulls her hand out, and then Carola pulls out the gun, makes off with, from this trailer park home, $12,000 in cash.
Holy cow. It's Judith Ramirez talking about it.
She said something about that she could read her hand. So I was just like, I'm not interested in that. So she started reading my forehead. I was just like, okay. She told her that if she doesn't give me the money, she was going to hurt us too, my baby and I. And then she's like, okay. So she gave her the money.
Okay. That's how it goes.
Read my forehead.
How do you read someone's forehead? I mean, the only thing I've ever read is when I see someone whose eyebrows are just one unibrow, I know I can't trust them. That's the only thing I know about forehead reading.
Yeah, we wrote the F word on a buddy's forehead once when he passed out.
Nice.
I guess you could read that.
Did you write it backwards so when he looked in the mirror, it was forward?
No,
just
it was
for
for
him?
our amusement.
Yeah, okay, just wondering, because that'd be a good twist.
Yeah, none of us were sober enough to write anything backwards.
Yeah, that would have taken me a while. Make no mistake about it.
I could get the U, I think.
Sometimes, welcoming the fortune teller into your home and being robbed. Do you remember the show? It was a big hit like 10 years ago, Long Island Medium.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember her?
Sure.
It was on AMC or not AMC, A&E or one of those networks. Long Island Medium, Caputo, something. It was a woman who just saw, I see you and
big hair.
Teresa Caputo, that was her name, and she was a big hit for a few years. She's still around. I haven't seen her in forever. And just the other day, like on my Facebook feed, there was an ad. She's on tour, and her hair has grown exponentially. She looked like she had a Ford Pinto on her head. It was just this giant, like it's just a helmet of white hair teased up. It was amazing looking.
Right. The fortune tellers got to have their look. Look at Zoltaire. He's got that whole thing going on. So
got a turban.
Yeah.
Turbans are always cool. I don't care. Any setting, any context, turbans work. There are worse things that could come into your home. Than a fortune teller with a gun. Like, say, I don't know, a bear. Especially if your home is a vehicle, like a minivan. In California, a bear did sneak into a minivan where some folks were camping. There was a whole lot of it was a 13th anniversary camp out, if you will, a family out in the woods, and a bear turned up, and the owner of this camper can tell you what happened.
And I noticed there was something moving in the car. And I see the silhouette of the bear through the back window. I was like, holy cow, there's a bear in our car. And he was trapped in there and probably started freaking out and started tearing the place apart. Beyond all the damage he did with its claws and destroying the car. But he also defecated and urinated in the car. So it stinks in there.
I have thoughts.
Fozzie Bear?
Or Kermit or both. Yeah, I was like, is it Fozzie was looking for Kermit and found him? What in the world?
Yeah, I love that guy's voice.
And I noticed there was something moving in the car. And I see the silhouette of the bear through the back window. I was like, holy cow, there's a bear in our car. And he was trapped in there and probably started freaking out and started tearing the place apart. Beyond all the damage he did with its claws and destroying the car. But he also defecated and urinated in the car. So it stinks in there.
That's
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, right. It does sound a little bit like Patrick Mahomes, doesn't he?
Let me get this straight. Defecated and urinated. Okay.
Yeah, that carpet, those seat covers, that's all. It's a minivan. Just get rid of the entire damn thing. Leave it out there in the woods for the bear.
I always love when someone's on local news, they're on camera, and they always go to, they use the proper words for terms. Instead, he pooed and peed. He defecated and urinated.
Yeah.
Right. You always see people say, like, the fireman showed up and he offered to extricate me from the vehicle after it turned over. It's like no one talks like a normal person when they're on camera.
He used the lavatory on my cranium.
That's exactly right. They always have to go to the bigger words. I just love he defecated and urinated. It's pretty great. I have a good friend in California who a buddy I've known for years. He's a chiropractor out in the Bay Area, and every year in the end of the summer, early September, he'll go into Yosemite National Park by himself for like 4 or 5 days. It's just a retreat he's done for years. He's got a family, a couple kids, very happy, but this is his, no phone. He literally unplugs and just goes deep into Yosemite for 3 nights in a tent and just is out there. He's been doing it, when he did that once a year before he had a wife, before he had kids, so he's never changed course. And about 6 years ago, he was out there and woke up in his tent as it was being slashed open by a bear. Like he's in a little tiny one-man vinyl tent, and he just pops awake like, do I hear a bear? And then this claw comes right through the tent and caught his cheek. And he's got a G.I. Joe scar for the rest of his life.
Cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Good story.
Bled
too.
like crazy. He chased the bear away, but freaking out, and then had about a 5-mile hike to get back somewhere just with a ripped open face. Wow. But now it just looks really cool.
Yeah, right. Exactly. What a great story. That's why you go hang out in the woods by yourself. Hopefully, you have a bear encounter.
Yeah. I wouldn't get within. Let's see. He was 5 miles in. I'd go about 4.9 miles less in. That's just how I would. That's how I would roll. Were that me? But I am just saying. What are you going to do? Not going to do that. Hey, how about this? There's a store. Well, this is this photo we've been talking about a whole lot of viral things. There's a sandwich shop. I guess this is in New York. It was closed. Looks like a deli or a convenience store. And they had a closed temporarily sign. You'll see out to lunch or back in 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This store's sign simply said, closed for sex. Be back in 30 minute. Thank you.
Yeah,
30-minute man.
30 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, well, that's...
I guess it's 24-minute round trip, 12 each way.
Yeah.
Leaves you 6 minutes for
swing
the sex,
to the ATM, grab some cash for them.
Huh. Yeah. Customer says...
Wait, you think they left the store? They weren't just getting freaky in the walk-in?
Yeah, no, you just do it in the store. Yeah.
I would hope so. I would like to think so.
That's what back rooms are for. Back doors.
Is it? Do you think? I mean, is this real? Think? I mean, do we know? I'm just looking at it. It looks like someone who literally thought like, I don't care if I get fired. I just want everyone to know that someone else on earth finds me attractive enough to shtup.
Maybe that's it. So then when the person comes back into the store, now you're going to be standing behind the counter, going to be like, that person just got laid. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just want people to think it, They just want, they want to believe it. They want to believe someone else believes that it happened to them.
I guess that could be true.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, close for sex.
Or not.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I just say go for it. You know what I mean? Let us know what you're really doing in there.
Wherever, whenever.
I've now that I'm thinking about it, sex on the job, that's just not something I've ever experienced. I've flirted with people on the job.
Right.
I've had jobs where it would have been easy. I mean, somewhere at a grocery store, there's a walk-in cooler.
Yeah.
Could have, but yeah, never got to be that's not the Mile High Club. What is that? The don't pee where you live club? What do you call that?
I feel like it's the Time Clock Club.
The time clock. That's a good one. Yeah. That's fair. I like
punch
that.
In, punch out. Yeah.
I've definitely had the experience. And there was an article, a story or something a couple months ago. I think it was called Work Goggles. But I've had the thing where you work with someone, and after a while, you start thinking like, yeah, they really, there's something there.
Oh yeah.
And then you see them in any other context, and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? Like the second you're not both, cleaning up the restaurant at the end of the night or filing away used records. Like you see them anywhere else in the world, you're like, her?
Right. Yeah.
Really? and she's looking at you going, him?
Yeah, it's like stranded on a desert island, It's like
I guess that's what it is.
Opportunity, and and you're just both in the same situation, closed environment, the hormones are flying. Yeah. I've had sex in this building a few times.
Probably more than I need to know, but really, I mean,
that chair you're sitting in right there.
Yeah.
Well. No, I'm kidding. I haven't done it in Studio C. I have in D, though, Tony.
Where? Am I touching anything?
No. On the other side of the counter there.
Oh, okay. I can see that. It's dark.
And E over there.
That changes.
Is that why they put the cameras in?
That
don't work anymore?
No, but one time it happened while the cameras were just after they put them in the main studio down the hall. I was working for a different radio station, and I realized that it had probably all been recorded, but no one ever busted me. Never ended up on the internet.
It changes the way I'm going to look at the room. I'll be honest with you.
I used to have a good time.
I have a good friend who I will allow to remain nameless for the purposes of the story. Music industry executive who got married in 1994, and he and his wife moved into a new home in the Hollywood Hills. Mm-hmm. Beautiful home. And he'd been there about 2 weeks. And Rick Rubin, who I'm sure you're familiar with that name, legendary producer and impresario, record label boss, big giant in the industry. Rick stopped by his house one day unannounced and said, "Hey, man, just wanted to say congratulations on the new home, and it's a beautiful place. I got a present for you. I got a housewarming gift." And my buddy goes, "Well, gosh, Rick, that's great. Thanks." He goes, "But we have to go get it together. You got to come with me." He says, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Just it's a quick drive down to Sunset. We're going to go. I just want you to see this. Got this thing. You're going to love it." My buddy's like a little dubious, but he's like, "Well, it's Rick Rubin. He drove up here. I'll hop in the car with him. It's a Saturday afternoon." They drive down to Sunset Boulevard. bottom of the hill, and Rick pulls into the Hustler store. And my buddy's like, Rick, come on, what is this, like a gag gift? He goes, no, Rick, trust me, you and your new beautiful bride are going to love this. And he's thinking, God, this is just weird. But and they walk into, again, this is 90s, so very different time. But they walk into the room where all the VHS tapes are, the home video room, and Rick is looking. Here it is, and he pulls one off the wall, just specifically. And my buddy goes, dude, I'm not really into porn. And I guarantee my wife is not into. He goes, no, trust me, this is not what you think. And he goes up and he purchases it there, and he just hands it. And at the store, Rick goes, here you go, man. Congratulations, love the new house. And my buddy's like, that's your gift? He goes, yeah, I'll take you home. And he takes him home, drops him off. See you later. Have a great day. And my buddy walks in and he tells his wife, and she's like, well, there's obviously something on this video he wants you to see. He pops it in. And it's a video that actually it's a giant orgy video. It's like 4 dozen people. And right away, boom, it's just right in the middle of all the action. And my buddy's looking at this and he's like, is that our kitchen?
It's their house.
It's their house. They had just moved into.
Perfect.
And he says, every square inch of my house, someone is doing something to someone else.
Fluids
he goes,
and oil.
It's just 90 minutes of every square inch of my house having been sexed upon. And they watched it and just horrified. And he goes, literally like after that. And so the guy that had produced, somehow Rick just knew this big porn producer had been the guy selling the house, and he had shot films at the house, or knew somehow he knew that was the same house, and that was his gift. And so my buddy literally, less than a month after moving in, put the house on the market, and sold it, and moved out.
Come on.
Yeah, he's like, I can't enjoy it. No, I'm sorry, I can't live here anymore.
Well, I mean, a little bleach and you're on
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk to spit all that thing.
Yeah,
all over the place.
There was a couple dozen hawk tuas going on in that house. I'm just saying, if it were my house, I'd have to rethink things too. It's just you can light some sage, sure, but I mean, how much sage is there on planet Earth, honestly, to clear out the bad vibes?
You got to throw your own orgy, just replace it with your own germs.
You know what? That's exactly. It didn't occur to me. You're exactly right.
Yeah, you got to over orgy.
Yep. You know what?
Orgy over. I don't know.
The answer, as always, just more orgies, guys.
More orgies.
Viral moments like the one we just heard, the Tuah. We've got them for you. Some of our favorites. We'll share them. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, June the 28th. I love rock and roll, just like Joan Jett sang. I think we all do. That's probably why we're here. And if you're a rock and roll fan, at some point you've probably enjoyed some music by the Kinks along the way. Dave Davies, the guitarist of the Kinks, brother of singer and songwriter Ray Davies, very famously in 2004 had a stroke and was incapacitated for some time. He, during that time in his life, went through a really rough phase, and a few things slipped through the cracks, like a storage unit that he was paying for. Didn't pay the bills for a few months, and it was taken, and everything in there was just disappeared, basically.
Storage wars,
including his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame trophy that he got when the Kinks were inducted. It is now on eBay. Dave Davies' Rock and Roll Hall of Fame trophy is on eBay being sold for $12,500.
Ooh, sounds expensive.
And he is like, he's gone to Twitter to go, hey, I lost track of this thing when I was during a time of being incapacitated. I'm happy to be recovered from my stroke, but I can't believe this has happened. At least I know where it is now, but maybe this guy could reach out. I don't want to have to pay $12,000 to get my own trophy back. And the seller, whoever that is apparently not so far communicating back to him to say, yeah, let's hook you up here. It's just one of those things you read and you're like, man, that just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah, it
Come
is
on,
a shame.
Dave Davies. He wrote all those great riffs. He played all those parts. Come on, give him his trophy back, for God's sakes.
I think you'd have to take the high road on that one. That's just bad karma.
If for no other reason than the bad karma. You know what I mean? That's a cement mixer's gonna accidentally back into you at a red light and fill your car with concrete with cement one day.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if he had hawked it at a pawn shop and now sentimentally wants it back, in his salad years, that'd be different. But
That would be very different.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he lost it because he didn't have his affairs in order.
It's tough. It's a tough situation right there. I don't know what his brother Ray's doing to help, if anything. But they don't. Last I heard, they're still arguing about something that happened in 1959.
What if Ray's the one selling it?
Well, that would be tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would be pretty rough. Oof. Yeah. Oh, see, that just got me right there. Just the thought of it. I know of various people. It's amazing how many times it's not something like this, but to your point, Zepp, it is someone that is very close or has been very close that suddenly just goes, I guess the thing this guy wrote in my high school yearbook is interesting to strangers now, et cetera, et cetera. Or I guess this guy's love letters to me are interesting to people now. It's amazing the stuff people sell.
Oh, yeah.
From something from 31 years ago, but hey, Burt Reynolds wrote it, so it's now worth $40 on eBay. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you people?
I always wonder those kind of oddball collectibles. Then you just show them to people, when they come over. Is that like sort of like the slides from your vacation that no one wants to see?
That's a great point. If you're gonna put it on eBay, but you wouldn't show it to someone in your own living room, because in person you're like, that would be really creepy. Anybody I know would look at me and go, dude, get rid of that. But you're like, put it on eBay. Because can you imagine going to someone's house and they're like, this is Dave Davies Rock and Roll Hall of Fame trophy? No, really? Wow, where'd you get it? Get this, he was incapacitated by a stroke, and someone over there they lost some things, and they lost track of the fact that he had a storage locker, and I got in there and bought it all out, and now I've got it. Isn't that awesome? It's like, no, it's not awesome at all.
Right.
I know I've heard stories. I haven't heard them directly from the source, but I have heard secondhand stories, so I can't reveal names, of a musician who loves to tell the story of how he was on a flight, on a United Airlines flight back in the 90s. And a flight attendant opened the overhead bin above him, and someone's shoulder bag fell out, and it literally hit him on the shoulder. Didn't hurt him at all. It's just someone's weighed a pound or two.
We're all getting on a plane. We're all getting in a Pringles can here.
And he claimed injury and grievous bodily harm, and United Airlines paid him off $200,000.
Yeah, some people are just waiting for it. And I think to myself, of all the things, we've all had bumped into something happened somewhere. And I thought to myself, you feel good about that? I want $200,000. I want it almost desperately. I'm not enough to, work for it or go to school for it or earn it.
That'd be crazy.
But I'm also not going to try and swindle some company out of it because of bean counters and lawyers.
The thing to me that's so crazy about that story, it's one thing to have gone through with it, but it's another to then tell the story more than one time after the person you told it to goes, dude, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. I totally cashed in. Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a big company. Yeah, but you weren't hurt. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. These things, and that's from a time before, because if it happened now, somebody would have a cell phone on that plane. They would have video of the guy clearly showing that he's not hurt. Because at the time, he was like, come on, well, I guess I'm okay. And then he got a good story cooked up over the next few minutes, I guess. Because now you would have that viral moment where people would be going, see, he was totally fine. He didn't even rub his shoulder. And then I could say his name publicly and I wouldn't feel weird about it, but I can't do that.
Everything is being recorded.
Everything is being recorded, especially in places like, Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee. If you've ever been on Broadway in the last 40 years, it's a bunch of honky-tonks, a lot of bars, a lot of people drinking, and for the last 20 years, far more than ever, because the entire strip of Lower Broadway has turned into basically Nashville's Bourbon Street or Beale Street in Memphis, or, you just got these spots where that's where all the tourists go, that's where all the action is, and not just on weekends, 7 nights a week. And so a viral video that hit the internet about a week and a half ago, and for a long time I avoided it because, when you see every everything in your Twitter feed about when something just blows up, I tend to avoid it because I know by tomorrow it'll be gone.
Yeah.
But this one's apparently got legs. And, of course, I'm referencing the Tuah girl from Nashville. A guy on the street walking around, some content creator is just interviewing people on the street. And of course, he knows, go to Broadway late at night and get some cute drunk girls to talk to you, and you're going to come up with something worth sharing. If you haven't heard it, I apologize in advance.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that huck to and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you gotta demonstrate.
Huck to and spit on it. Spit on it.
I mean, forget the fact that she's right. I mean, she brings up a good point. It's, but yeah, I saw this earlier in the week and I thought the same thing. I went, yeah. She gets it. She's fun. That's awesome. But I had no idea it was going to go so insanely viral. I can't pick viral moments. Nothing impresses me that much, I guess.
No, I would be
Been
the
on radio
worst.
too long.
I would be the worst at looking. You could show me 8 clips and say, you can show me 4 clips and say, one of these is about to take over the internet. There's no way I would ever figure out which one it's going to be. Yeah. I'm the guy who had AOL explained to me in 1992, and I laughed and was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have email. Okay, sure, whatever, spaceman from the future. You know, so yeah, I don't know what's coming down the pike.
Well, this one's already made it into, like, say, the broadcasting booth. This was at, so this happened earlier in the week or last weekend, and now at a Cardinals game last night.
He just spit on his shoulder as he was sitting there and went to spit, a little humid out, I guess, and mouth getting a little bit dry. Didn't quite clear his arm and just landed right on the shoulder.
Tuah.
Let's do it again.
By the way, that was 2 nights ago.
The color guy says Tuah, and the play-by-play guy immediately with the fake laugh. Don't do that. It's a Cardinals broadcast. I can't believe we're talking about
he had no idea what he was talking about.
Probably
or
didn't.
that, yeah.
Yeah, you've got grannies out there today going, Tuah, and they don't know why they're saying it. It's just going viral. People are doing it, so.
There's always one, every so often, but if you get, based on what I've seen so far, 24 will be remembered as the Tuah year.
Oh yeah.
The girl in question, I believe her name was Haley Welch, something like that. The last I read about her, I saw there were 2 stories. One is that there's some Tuah merch being sold.
Yep.
It's not her company, but she's getting a cut of it, apparently. Somebody else in town jumped all over that. And then the next thing I saw was that she's back wherever she's from, which is a small town, a rural area in Tennessee, and she doesn't want anyone to know where it is because, internet overnight viral fame ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah. Well,
she's gonna be answering to this one for a very long time.
On a
get
smaller
out
scale,
of it, get into it, and who cares what those jerks back home think? I left a small town too. They're just a bunch of. They're the ones that didn't get out.
I think she's
Piss
back
on
there.
them.
I think she's back there just because it's safe. I think they're circling the wagons. What were you gonna say, Tony?
Oh, just on a smaller scale locally, that happened with Bring Your Ass.
Bring your ass.
Certain things just catch fire.
I know.
And you want to
look how his life has been haunted.
Right, yeah, the poor kid.
Yeah, God knows where he's hiding now.
You wonder, though, do people jump on those things because it's actually clever and intriguing or because everyone else is paying attention to it? They're like, oh, I should find out more about that, and that's how it builds.
It's a combination. I believe it's both. Certain viral moments, like my favorite of the last 20 years, it's just because it's so completely. There's the things that if somebody told you again ahead of time, you'd say there's no way that this person is about to say these words in order. The Miss USA pageant, Miss South Carolina, asked a question. This is in 2007, and I will never. I remember very clearly watching it the next day, and then I probably watched it 11 straight times, adding to that view count because I couldn't get enough of it.
Recent polls have shown 1/5 of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
Today's our education such as, and I believe that they should our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries. So we will be able to build up our future for our
Thank you very much, South Carolina.
Yeah, that was sincere.
Thank you.
So what was the problem? They don't have maps in those countries? Can we just get those people some maps, such as?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's U.S. Americans too.
Yeah,
well, in South Africa. The greatest thing about that is the bell rings and she keeps talking.
Yeah.
She's the confidence growing with every garbled word out of her mouth.
Kind of starting to sort it out a little bit.
Man,
no.
I haven't looked because I'm afraid to, but that woman, Miss South Carolina that year, she's somewhere. She's out there living her life. She's probably past it, but I got to think at least once a week somebody just gives her a look like, yeah, we know.
Mm-hmm. We know you're Miss South Carolina. Wait a minute.
We know where you were coming
what
from
are you
with that.
You know what? If I were her, I would drop such as from my vocabulary because every time she says such as, you'd know. Wait a second. Did you just say such as? Well, and she had prepared for that. Probably most of her life for that moment, and they,
sure,
they're very very much prepped for that. This kid at the waterfront park in downtown Portland was not prepped for this, but choked in the moment.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend the zombie Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right, you're great zombie. And good times here at the Waterfront Village. Open for the next.
I remember that.
I like turtles.
I forgot all about that one. That's great.
Yeah, I like
turtles.
And then there are sometimes people that embrace the moment, were born to the moment, not trained for it, prepped for it, has any formal training. Just circumstances are such, and a camera ends up on them, like when Sweet Brown's apartment caught on fire.
It describes her horrifying experience when she first realized the complex was on fire.
Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop, and then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got me. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Man, no.
That one showed up on the KQ Facebook page quite a bit this morning.
There's a few. We've got some pre-virals as well. I mean, you can go back to when it was just TV. A lot of people weighing in. Where's the beef? I'm seeing a lot of where's the beefs.
That's not viral.
That's not viral. That's TV. Everybody was saying it.
Yeah, it's a catchphrase.
It was a catchphrase. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sweet Brown, though, that's pretty fantastic. There's also the you played it earlier. The Dynamite guy, the sportscaster in Indianapolis.
Now, here's a guy who had a catchphrase all ready to go. This is a line that he had practiced. I've got my catchphrase. The guys on ESPN always have their catchphrases.
Yeah.
He's a young sportscaster in Indianapolis.
The Nets won the last Sunday's matchup 94-85, which left the Pacers one game behind the Chicago in the 7th series spot. Let's check out the highlights. Steven Jackson's David... Reggie Miller's looking good.
Yeah.
He shoots a three, and it's good. Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
Who boomed the dynamite? The man. What's the man's name? The man.
Pass it to the man.
All I know is Reggie Miller, and he plays on a team with a bunch of the man. There's a bunch of guys they're all called the man.
Right.
Good Lord. It's really incredible. And boom goes the dynamite. And and everybody used that for a while. Like you turn on on SportsCenter, and it was boom goes the dynamite. It was the greatest joke in sportscasting for months. Mm-hmm. And all I remember about that period of time was going, why is everyone saying this now? Because I never heard that clip until this morning.
Oh, no. I
it's brand new to me.
Many friends that years later would use it, and boom goes the dynamite, and we'd all chuckle, and I'd say something like, I wonder whatever happened to that young sportscaster.
Yeah.
What young sportscaster? And boom goes the dynamite.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Where does that come from? We don't even know. It just made it into the American vernacular or whatever, and there it is. But that's the source. And by the way, the video's a lot more because you see him caught in the headlights rather, and I edited that down to about 20 seconds. Right. It's about 7 minutes long.
Oh, and he's ready to cry.
Oh, he's squirming and
sweat is pouring.
And then and then he gets done, and you just see the sense of relief, like, oh God, that's over. That was really, really bad. Yeah. And the anchor, about the same age as him, looks at him and goes, "All right, thanks, Brian. Nice job."
Nice.
Right.
God, there could be few things I would imagine worse than being wholeheartedly unprepared and being asked to go, because you're supposed to be giving scores and updates while highlights are playing.
Yeah. Oh, and they're just rolling through. He went through softball scores. He went through Ball State baseball scores, and all of it was a disaster. And at some point, I think Tony, we were listening to it off the air. He just went, "Oh no." Or no, maybe that was the last time we were talking about it. And Tony said you could tell, he was the video wasn't working. He wasn't getting what he needed out of it. So it wasn't all just on him. And I forget this local kid's name, Minnesota kid, right, Tony? Oh, he's on the phone.
Chocolate rain.
Oh, chocolate rain kid.
Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain. A baby born will die before the sin. Chocolate rain.
I mean, what a
yes,
voice.
Yes, sir.
And
Tay Zonde.
That's it.
Wow. Hottest viral video of the summer of 2007.
7.
Yeah, man. That's another one. I didn't know what I was missing back in those days.
No, they were turning up on SNL skits and everything.
They certainly were.
Yeah.
I guess the lesson from that sportscaster going back is if you have a catchphrase, you got to make sure you're ready to actually use it.
Yeah.
Miller ahead to the man, that's not when you throw boom goes the dynamite. No. When you know the guy shooting's name, maybe then pull the trigger on boom goes the dynamite. And there was a great Sports Center ad where they're all talking about their catchphrases are all organic and they just come to us, but then it was like behind the scenes and they show everybody practicing.
Oh yeah, no, that was fantastic.
And so this kid was going, boom, that's a TNT stick.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. Boom, who's got C4 in their pocket? You can only imagine all the crap that kid was coming up with.
Boom goes the dynamite. Brilliant.
You've been bad, that makes a man go crazy every time.
You gotta give him that huck to and spit on that thing.
Man.
All right.
The funniest part of that to me is actually when she says, spit on that thing. I mean, that Tennessee comes out strong afterwards. Trini Trotuline in his shoes. No. TNT sticks in he's got TNT for fingers. No, that's not it. Hang on. Boom, he's got an M80 in his mouth. No, hang on. It's fantastic.
And it was literally out of a 5-minute sports segment there. It was the only time that he had 1 second of confidence. And boom goes the dynamite.
There it was. I guess it is good to be prepared. KP Anderson's at Acme tonight and tomorrow night. KP Anderson's a very funny gentleman, and he will be joining us in studio. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday, June 28th, which means tonight at the Acme Comedy Club, as well as tomorrow night, KP Anderson will be appearing, a very funny gentleman who is in studio with us right now. Good morning, sir.
Oh, my God. Minneapolis got Steve Gorman.
Go figure.
That is astounding.
It was a bidding war for the ages. They called, and I said, sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We're playing catch-up over here. KP and I met years ago at a Black Crowes gig. I have no recollection of ever having met the man, but I'm pretending to, and I think that's
going
well.
You're doing a great job.
Trying my best.
You really quickly name-dropped Bill Simmons, and when I actually know someone way more famous than you.
Well, he was there the same night. I just wanted you to remember that I remembered something about that encounter.
That night, yeah. Someone who's done well.
Minnesota born. What does that mean?
Grew up
Whereabouts?
Grew up in Cambridge, Minnesota, an hour north of here.
Okay.
And went to Hamline University.
Very nice.
Started stand-up in Minneapolis in 1990.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Moved to L.A., did a whole bunch of writing and producing.
I'm well aware of that, man. You put your name on The Soup, which is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, we had a good time doing that. It was 12 years, 50 weeks a year of me and Joel and some great people running around. Yeah.
12 years. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I imagine when you were putting that show together, like from the idea of let's cook something up. I mean, it how many twists and turns did it take over 12 years you could have never imagined? I mean, every month must have been like, wait, we're still doing this? And where are we going now?
Yeah, and that was really by the end. It was like I always, like, not in talent level by any stretch, but I always, from what the job was, I always compared it to like the White Stripes. It's like, you got to make these two same instruments sound different every. Like, how are we gonna make hay out of Rob Kardashian picking out socks this week? Like, what do we do?
And on one hand, the material brings itself to your door every day, but like you said, on the other hand, you're like, yeah, I still just got salt and pepper here. Got to spice it up somehow.
Yeah, and then we managed to we rebooted it. We did 700 episodes at E, and then we did 19 episodes at Netflix.
Okay, so 700 versus 19.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle was the magic number. Is what Joel and I always talk about. It was like somewhere we were toasty by the time we left E, and then we took like a year and a half, 2 years off, and then Paul Feig, who was my neighbor, we bumped into each other, and he used to guest on the show and loved the show. He was like, "Oh, I figure we should make this. Let's call Joel." And so we went up to my house and called Joel, and he was like, "Yeah, okay." And we called Netflix, and we wound up doing 19 episodes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All those years, so 12 years, 50 weeks a year. That doesn't leave a lot of time for stand-up.
No, and that was kind of the for a while. Like, I think from like at sort of the height of the show's popularity from like 2008 to maybe like 2010 or 11, Joel was touring doing stand-up, and I would go out with him a lot. I'd go to the cool gigs.
Yeah,
like I'd open for him if it was Carnegie Hall, if it was the Verizon Amphitheater in Dallas, like those I'd go to.
Right.
If it was going to be some little dinner theater in Phoenix, I'd be like, you knock him dead, buddy. I'm gonna see my kid grow up.
That's going to be a great weekend, Joel. Yeah. Have a great time. Send a postcard.
Yeah.
So speaking of this kid, so you, a Minnesota guy, you move out to L.A., you get married, you have a kid, raised the kid in L.A.
Raised the kid in L.A.
We pulled out when the kids were 4 and 2. We were like, I don't know if this is where we want their worldview to be formed.
Yeah, you probably saved way more money than I did too.
There was that too.
Yeah, there is no public school option in LA.
No, there's not.
And yeah, she graduated. She's at Northeastern University in Boston now. And
nice.
And that kind of we moved to the East Coast, moved to Greenwich, Connecticut in 22. And
escape from LA. Then.
Yeah, a little bit of it was her. I just remember we were driving through, like, she was like 14, 15 years old, and we were driving through Hollywood and going, strip mall and ugly apartment building and, incongruous architecture and everything. She's looking out the window and she goes, "Dad, what do you think of LA?" And I was like, "It's a dump." And she goes, "Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah, that's glad to know we're on the same page here.
Yeah, so she loves Boston. She loves New England and the East Coast, and she just called one day and was like, "I'm staying here." Like, she's a physicist. She's going after her PhD.
Wow.
And so she was like, I love the people. I love I love the streets. I love everything about it.
Got it.
I'm staying on the East Coast, and my wife and I are like, "Oh crap, we don't never want to have another Sunday dinner with you." So
yeah, right.
Yeah,
sure.
So we packed up. We didn't go to Boston. We did not we're not helicopter parents. We're in Connecticut.
Understand that.
We're Chinese spy balloon parents is what we are.
Very nice. Yeah. Very nice. The difference is subtle but important.
We're in the atmosphere and you can see us, but you're going to need Sidewinder missiles if you feel like doing something about it.
That's exactly right. KP Anderson, you're at Acme tonight, 7 and 9:30. Tomorrow, 7 and 9:30. Of course, acmecomedycompany.com if you want to pick up tickets. So, like so many comics we've had on the show, Acme clearly, I would imagine, holds a pretty special place in your heart.
Oh my God. Yeah, it is. Louis Lee, the owner, has been, not just to me, but to so many comics who've emerged from here. Like, an incredible friend. He really was the guy, like, with no disparagement to any of the others, the Hanson brothers and the other people who ran stuff. Louis was, like, just such an incredibly supportive figure for us. And that club. What's crazy is I've been in town longer than I expected to. I came out and did a gig on the St. Croix River a couple weeks ago. Then my mom was having some health issues, so I just stayed through the time through these gigs. And I've been going down to a lot of the open mics around town. And I've been going like Sisyphus Brewing and all these other places. And the scene here, like when I was coming up, our scene was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was, we had Nick Swartzen was starting, and Maria Bamford and I started at the same time together, and Jackie Cation was coming up. Like, a lot of great comics, and a lot of the great guys who are still here, John DeBoer, Michael Thorne. There were so many great comics that were coming up. Now it's like, oh my God, it's huge, and they take it serious, and it's diverse as all get out, and it's like kind of built around this idea of funny rules. And the guys who are opening for me, Sean and Trevor, who are opening for me this week, are hysterical. There's so many great comics who are working their way up to something that it's kind of mind blowing.
That's pretty great. And as someone who's been observing that, and I would imagine when you moved into TV, in a weird way, maybe I'm making this I'm making all of it up. Maybe I'm right, though. When you're not in the clubs every night, but you have a steadier job doing TV, steadier in quotes, I guess. Yeah. It's probably easier to differentiate and discern, like, that kid's got something. You're not competing so much, maybe. You're not so knee deep in it. I mean, I'm just looking at you as a comedy helicopter parent or the Chinese spy balloon parent. Now you probably have a much quicker, man, that's good. That's good. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
I think it's that, it's kind of like that sailor can always spot another sailor. And,
yeah, sure.
And you see, like, there's people that you see who are figuring it out, but there's something there.
Right.
And you do kind of, like, in the position that I get to be in now on the other side of my job, is I get the benefit of, going something there, let's watch, as opposed to something there, we got to jump, we got to meet that person right now.
Okay.
And I think that there's like being part of, like, the New York scene now too, and going out and doing clubs. It's a great, like, against all the other stuff that people talk about, cancel culture and
sure.
And all the silly, like, crowd rap versus doing your act to get YouTube viewers and TikTok followers. It doesn't really matter. It's a great time to be a comic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great to hear.
Yeah.
KP Anderson's with us on the KQ Morning Show at Acme tonight. 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. Tomorrow night, 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. So you grew up an hour north of the Twin Cities. Are you a long-suffering Vikings fan by chance?
Yes, sir, I am.
Boy, the eyes just went black as soon as I said that. I saw it in your face.
It's just, what's funny is, like, all my friends, like, talking about Joel McHale, like, Vikings Seahawks. It shouldn't be a rivalry,
right?
But there's that one game out in the cold, the missed kick, and he wanted to be able to taunt me for that. And I was like, dude, this isn't even an NFC Championship game. You got no idea. You gotta cut so deep to hurt me anymore.
That's right.
It can't possibly a playoff game. They lose a playoff game. Great. I got 2 weeks with new stuff to do.
Yeah, the thick skin ain't because of the cold weather.
No, not at all.
It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people, I have a lot of friends from this area, and they all move away, and then a lot of them come back. I mean, there is just such a. When you were in LA, did you find yourself thinking a lot about Minnesota in a way you didn't expect to? Because everybody I know in LA from the Twin Cities, there's a lot of Twin Cities talk.
Yeah, it is. It's a really weird thing. Like, for a while, I've been writing a novel that takes place up on Leech Lake in Walker, Minnesota, and eventually someday I'm going to finish it.
Okay.
But it's one of those things that, like, I never realized how much I thought about it, but I came back here to go up to Leech Lake. My family used to have a cabin up there and stay for a couple weeks to just kind of roll around, get the feel and the vibe again. And it's everything about, like, literally the second the plane touches down, the air feels different.
Yeah.
Like, everything sort of, like, all of the sense memory just starts dialing into you, and it's such a great place to grow up. It's such a great place to be from. And it still pulls at me. When we decided to move to Connecticut, I was pushing hard for back here.
Were you?
And my wife was like, I'm not doing that winter. She's from Encino, California. Like, she was like, I'm not.
Oh, forget it. Yeah.
I'll spot you an East Coast winter if I get to be a little closer to my kid, but we are not doing Minnesota winter. And but yeah, I still, like, 17 days here. And, I've been here 17 days with 4 shirts and staying at my mom's house until I moved into a hotel the other night. And like, it is really, I immediately sink back in. And I go, God, I love it here.
Let's go back to the novel. Is this by chance about a comedian who is also a serial killer?
No.
Damn.
But by the way, the first one that I ever tried to write, was that it?
Was that it?
That was it, yeah.
Yeah?
I remember I was in, like, Bismarck, North Dakota, and I was just feeling vile.
Sure.
And I was like, what if I killed people after the show? How would that make me feel?
I used to think I had the perfect, as a touring musician, I had the perfect color for 2 jobs. 1, serial killer, but 2, like, CIA operative, spy.
Absolutely. absolutely.
I have a reason to be in all these places.
Yeah,
it's like perfect.
Just like the opening act, what I kind of wrote on. Nobody ever remembers the drummer, so like hell with it, you can go do it.
Heck yeah, of course, man. Slide in, slide out. I mean, unless you're the aforementioned Meg White, and then and everyone's paying attention.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's much easier.
Yeah.
So I mean, there a novel? Was there ever a screenplay? Was it just TV, or did you ever think about throwing a movie together?
I've written a couple of screenplays. Nothing's gotten the closest I got was our pal Jay Moore a long time ago. I wrote a piece for him called "Playing the Progressive," which was about a guy who goes out to Vegas to try to win. Like he's got a surefire way to win a progressive jackpot, and it turns into kind of like an after hours overnight thing. And Jay loved that script. I was doing more sports with him on ESPN at the time, and he loved the script, and we optioned it, and we had it kind of set up to shoot, and then Jay went all Jay on us.
As things happen, well, he's got the financing in place now.
Yeah, he does, right?
Since he's married to the Lakers.
Yeah, I should give him a shout.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get my name on there. Let's go produce a film together. Hey, Jay, we got this idea. Remember this thing, the Progressive?
By the way, you know what he did to me? Like, I didn't know he was dating Jeannie when they first started dating.
Okay.
And a buddy of mine who was renting a house for me in L.A. was throwing a party for his kid.
Okay.
And Jay was there, to a mutual friend, and birthday party for his kid. And so I show up, and Jay, and I'm just kind of like wandering the property, making sure the guy isn't doing anything. And I turn the corner, and Jay's standing there with Jeannie, and he goes, "Hey, KP, you want to meet my girlfriend?" I was like, "Why is the owner of the Lakers standing in my backyard? Like, what?"
Yeah, right.
And why is she with you?
Yeah, I said the same thing to him when I heard they were together. I actually texted him, and I was like, "What? How did this rumor get started?" and I was dead serious, and he's like, "Dude, we've been dating for like 6 months." I was like, "Wow,
it's so," and she's such a delight. Like, I think everybody on the planet would agree she has so many more options than the man that she married. So many more.
He would agree. He would sign off on that probably first and with the most veracity.
Exactly.
KP Anderson, you're at Acme tonight and tomorrow night. 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. AcmeComedyCompany.com. If you and I go out right now, no warm-up, free throws, I give you 10. How many are you going to hit?
3.
Nice. I like an honest man.
3, yeah.
3.
Yeah, I'm a hockey player first. And so,
okay.
Baseball,
From the far blue line, no one in net, how many are you putting in there?
Far blue line, no one in net, and I don't have to slap shot.
Street shoes?
Yeah, street
no
shoes.
No skates. Just walk out there.
10 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I'm throwing them down.
Strong.
Yeah.
Lefty by chance?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Glad we could work that out.
Yeah.
So go to Acme tonight and tomorrow night. KP's going to be giving a wrist shot demonstration.
That's right.
It's going to be fantastic.
That's right. From the stage, real pucks.
Well, sit right there because we have one more order of business to get to. All right. It's June 28th. I want to see if you remember this, KP. Okay. I was in Camden, New Jersey playing a gig. That's basically Philly. Mm-hmm. Walked off stage and we all, band crew, it was a tour called Further. All the people from all the bands piled into a giant room to watch Mike Tyson in a heavyweight bout with Evander Holyfield. Yep. And it sounded a little something like this at one point.
Oh, and some nasty stuff in there. There needs to be a bite almost. Holyfield is very unhappy. Look at this. It looked as if Tyson bared his teeth at one stage in the experience.
Yeah, it's impossible to describe to someone the weirdness of that moment as Mike Tyson ripped a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear off his head.
And it's one of those, it's kind of like the Joe Theismann leg break. It is. That you remember where you were. I was in Redondo Beach. I want to say it was Zach Galifianakis' house.
Oh, really? That's a good one, yeah. I was in, as I said, Camden, New Jersey. By the way, the Theismann leg break, the lobby of North Hall, Western Kentucky University. Remember it like it was yesterday.
My buddy Max Hernberger's kitchen, watching on the little black and white TV.
Attaboy.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.